Hello, it's Friday, it's Pendulum Day. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot, weekly Pendulum Day. You're going to notice in the title, I put the date. Okay, that's because I've frankly run out of clever ways to say it's Pendulum Day. You can't duplicate the same title on YouTube, so you're going to just start seeing the Friday date on the Fridays. Okay. So we've gotten a bunch of questions. I'm going to start actually first with Canada. So I got a question a while ago, and I'm sorry, I just sort of it flew by my head. Somebody wanted to know about the who's going to win the next election in Ontario. The next election in Ontario is not until October 2026. So that is what 3 years and a month away. Sorry, it's just too far. What I can ask is Ford going to Okay, so just for anybody who's new, side to side is I'm ready to talk, the pendulum's ready to talk, and I am protected. Back and forth is yes. You can tell that I asked the same thing, and round is no. This pendulum and I are quite connected. It reads my mind on a regular basis. Okay, so is Ford going to retain the public's confidence in Ontario? Okay, so for right now, that's a no. That does not denote what may or may not happen in an election, but it definitely feels as if he's heading into a slump. Also, the next election in Alberta is not until 2027. That's like Danielle Smith, unfortunately, only recently got elected, so we're going to be stuck with her for a while here. But I think the question I most want to ask about her is she going to continue to push right? Yeah. Sometimes I think she's Trump in heels. I swear. Her latest little stunt is she wants Alberta's portion of the money that is sitting in the sort of Canadian pension fund. This is like ridiculous. It's not how the pension fund was set up. In order to get Alberta's part, it would take about half of the equity that's already sitting in that pension fund. It does not make sense what she's doing at all. And the problem is, like a lot of places and a lot of politics, is people read the headlines and they go, "Oh yeah, I should have that. I should be entitled to that," and then they don't read or understand it on a deeper level. But it looks like for the time being, she's going to continue to push. There's a lot going on in a couple of provinces, actually, about keeping gender identities out of I guess elementary schools. Now, understand, elementary schools go up to grades 6, 7, 8, depending on the province, and so I don't know, and there's protests and there's counter protests, and it's called 1 million March for Kids, I think. So I'm just going to ask a quick question about that. Is that group who is advocating for much strict, in fact, no allowance for gender identity in schools, like preferred gender identity, I guess. Is that movement going to continue to gain strength? Unfortunately, yes. Is there going to be significant pushback against that? Yes. Okay. And final Canadian question. Pierre Trudeau has an approval rating right now of 37%. No, sorry. Justin Trudeau has an approval rating of 37%. Pierre, whatever his name is sitting at like 63 percent. And, you know, he's he's not as liberal as some people would like to think. And so again, um, are Pierre's politics going to continue to push right? Okay, it's not answering. This is then the question. Is Pierre trying to come to center so he is more attractive to more of the population? Oh, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Is Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, going to be able to regain some of his popularity going forward? And that's a yes. Okay, the elections are just too far away to be able to get a real handle or energy read on them. Okay, so here we go. Um, will North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Anita Earls win her First Amendment lawsuit against the um, North Carolina? I hope. Yeah. Judicial Standards Commission. Is she going to win that lawsuit? Yes. All right. Um, did the former guy, Trump, distribute classified or sensitive docs to Russia, Saudi Arabia, or any other country who is not an ally? Yes. If so, will he be held accountable? It's gone still. So what this means is there's so many other things he's going to be held accountable for. It just feels like, and the follow-up question was, will we hear about it? And that is, yeah, that is a no. Okay, so whatever's going on there, that I think is being taken care of by whatever alphabet takes care of those kinds of things, intelligence, etc. But they can't. The people may want to know. They're really curious. But when it gets out in the public, that also means America's sort of enemies, if you will, also know that. And so, um, you know, there are some things that just can't be made public, frankly, for the safety and security of America. Um, is Ron DeSantis likely to leave his office as governor of Florida before his term is up? Okay, so I'm getting a yes. Let's ask a really ridiculous question. Is that because he is going to be nominated as the um, Republican nominee for president? No. Okay. Will Marianne Williamson ever serve in an American government in some way? No. In some ways, she should have stuck to that sort of spiritual um, component. She wrote books and really lovely, lovely energy. But frankly, at this point, she is, there's too many murky connections to Russia. Um, is the man identified as Kim Jong Un the same leader of 10 years ago? Yes. Let's ask one more question about Putin. Is the man we see as Putin, is he the same leader that has been ruling Russia for years and years? Yes. You know, there's a lot of this chatter about, well, he doesn't look the same and he looks this and he looks that, or he walks that way or he whatever. You know what? You want to see a picture of me 10 years ago? I don't look the same either, and I sure as hell don't move the same way. So I think that this whole body double, it really does fall into the category of, um, you know, sorry, the word has escaped me. Um, when people sort of make up stories and then they run with them. Will the people of North Korea ever have self-rule? This is too broad a question. So, will the people of North Korea have self-rule within the next 10 years? It doesn't look like it. Um, I'd like to know if Ivanka is, it's okay, it's not Ivanka, it's Ivana. Go there. I'd like to know if Ivana is in that coffin. Yes, she is. Conspiracy. That's the word I was looking for. And that's another thing around her. There's a lot of sort of this and that kind of talk. And I'm not discounting all of it, but I'm saying that conspiracy theories have a way of just picking up crazy momentum. And then they can't be, reined back in. I mean, the 2020 election was stolen, right? I mean, how big a conspiracy is that? And you now have something like 60+% of Republicans who believe it. So, we got to be careful about falling into the habit of thinking conspiracies are a truth and there's just something we're not being told. Sometimes it is what it is, right? Will they get rid of Jim Jordan? So again, really broad question. I'm going to, I think what I want to ask is Jim Jordan going to be removed um, from his position of chairman in the committee that he is currently heading? That's a yes. I'm not quite sure what it's going to take to do that. Again, will Trump be held accountable for all the COVID deaths? No, not on Earth. He will be held accountable in other dimensions, in other ways. Again, this sort of harkens back to the video I released on Tuesday called, Keep the Lights Turned On. Um, we need to make sure that we are not so focused on everybody being punished for every single thing that they did, right or wrong, or didn't do, or should have done, because that energy, just thinking about it and promoting it and wanting that to happen, lowers your own vibration. At some point, you have to just sort of take a deep breath and trust that one, the Justice Department will do what the Justice Department can do, and two, karma's going to do the rest. Will Chris Christie manage to catch 45 at a rally like he says he will do? I don't know what that means. I don't know if Chris Christie's going to go to a rally and harass him. I don't know what any of that is about, but let's just answer the question. Yeah. Is Melania still at Mar-a-Lago? Mar-a-Lago. Okay, not right now. Does she still consider it one of her primary residences? Yes. Is their marriage going to hold? Yes. I'm hearing she's not dumb. She can read the writing on the wall. She knows that he is in a downhill slump. She's going to try to wait him out. Okay, I have a bunch of questions here from, actually two, it's not so bad. With regards to Georgia. So I'm just going to ask the questions. Okay, so is Secretary of State Brad Raspenberger, sorry, I screwed that up, likely to run for governor in 2026. As of right now, that looks like a small yes. And anybody wondering how come we can see farther or get the energy for elections that are farther down the road and we can't do the same thing with Canadian politics? It's because frankly, America's always having an election and it's always at the top of the consciousness, where in Canada, it just simply doesn't tend to be. And so the energy doesn't start coalescing until, closer to the time of an election here in Canada. Is the MAGA right-wing Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones likely to run for governor in 2026? Right now, that's a pretty strong no. And the follow-up question was, is he likely to win? So we're going to go with no there too. Will Kushner be found guilty for wrongdoing in regards to the Saudi Arabia $2 billion deal? Yes. It's going to take a while. Okay, it's just going to take a while. Will Matt Gaetz run for governor of Florida? Right now, that's a pretty strong guess. And again, DeSantis has what, 2 or 3 more years as governor? And what is the outcome of that? So if Matt Gaetz runs for governor of Florida, will he win? Right now, the answer to that is no. Are there some Republican senators and representatives being bribed by Russia or any of Russia's interests? Oh yeah, you bet. I mean, listen, you don't have to look farther than, Mitch McConnell, who got that, whatever that was, that big steel factory or whatever it was in Kentucky. That's all Russian or Russian oligarch money. Sometimes pressure and bribes don't necessarily need to be really in your face. In fact, a lot of time they're much more subtle than that, for entertainment purposes only. Will there be an adjustment in the stock market within the next few months? Looks like a yes. Will Lauren Boebert be removed from her representative seat? No. I mean, she comes up for re-election in 2024, correct? Her conservative or her liberal challenger, her Democratic challenger, seems to be doing very, very well. So let's ask this. Is Lauren Boebert going to be replaced? I wish I could remember his name and I cannot, by the gentleman who is running on the Democratic ticket. Strong yes. She only won the last race by 500 and some odd votes. Will 45 actually go to jail or prison? Okay, it's a small yes. So then I'm going to ask a follow-up question, which um, is that going to be modified in keeping with his previous position as president? Okay, yes. Now, before you guys all start jumping up and down and screaming he was an illegitimate president and why should he get special treatment, it feels energetically like it really has more to do with security and keeping him secure. I mean, they need to keep him with the general population, okay? And realistically, you can't take somebody who's 80 years old and shove them in solitary confinement for, 23 out of 24 hours. I think that would actually cause some real um, anger within the United States. Did Garland meet with Jack Smith in June 2022 to inquire if he was interested in the special counsel role? Okay, so no. Or did Garland reach out to Jack after Trump announced his run for POTUS? Yes. Will the 2024 general election see record turnout for pro democracy voters? Okay, let's ask it that way. Record turnout for pro democracy. Yes. Will independents vote Democrat in record numbers during the 2024 general election? I'm going to rephrase that a little bit. Um, will more independents vote Democrat in the 2024 election? Yes. Will moderate Republican vote totals for Democrat in 2024 election shock the election pundits? Yes. Although again, as you get closer, um, I think if they're going to try to sell that whole red mirage and the red wave like they did before, I don't think it's going to hold a lot of traction except for people who are ill-informed and brainwashed. Will the 2024 general election see record losses for the GOP at the local, state, and federal level? Okay. Um, Are there going to be significant losses for Republicans at the local political level? Yes. At the local state level? Yes. At the local federal level? Yes. Um, the energy, again, even though the United States consciousness um, is always about elections, it's still what? A year and a couple of months away. Yes, the primaries are happening, are going to be happening, and things start heating up, and they start heating up, fairly soon. But let's face it, they really don't get all whipped up into shape until September, October of 2024. So that's like a year away from now. Um, Okay, so that's what we have. I'm just going to ask a couple random questions that I'm thinking about. And some of them we already know the answer. We've been told the answer. I just want to uh, question it again for a sense of reassurance. Is Joe Biden going to be healthy and able to run for president in 2024? Yes. Is Joe Biden going to win the presidency in 2024? Yes. Is Hunter Biden actually going to end up being put in jail? No. Okay. I think that's what I know. I think that's the end of the questions. So thank you ever so much for once again taking part in Pendulum Friday. I look forward to seeing your questions as they roll in next week. And a great big thank you to Joyce, who is keeping all of this organized for me. She's also sending me the mini request. And so I will be going through those. Okay, so you know what? It's Friday, it's the weekend. Do something nice for yourself. and someone you love. Until next time, take care, be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye bye now.